Okay, I am back, and I believe we have made it back without um yes, the gone. Okay, great. Well, listen, I am not going to prolong the evening. I do want to get started right on time, specifically because we were having technical difficulties on yesterday, and I want to make sure that you guys are able to um, hear everything from yesterday as well as today. So we are going to start at 7:02. So we're going to do one more minute to give people an opportunity to hop on to join us. If you are here, go ahead and let me know where you are tuning in from, what school you are attending. Let me know who you are so that I can properly greet you and welcome you to this book writing masterclass. Yes, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in, where you're watching from, what city and state, what school. That will be really, really helpful for me as we go along through this. The live will be up until next Friday. No, not next Friday, next Tuesday. It will be up until next Tuesday. So if you need to come back and watch it again, it will be available on our YouTube page until next Tuesday, and then it will not be there. So be sure that you have come back. I want you today to make sure that you have pencil, paper, that you take an abundance of notes. There is going to be a lot of information that we're going to give out on tonight, and I want to make sure that you have everything that you need to be successful with this book writing course. And it is officially 7:02, so we are going to get started. Okay, so welcome to the Book Writing Masterclass presented by Business Owners of Tomorrow and Teach Kids Business. My name is Niana Harris. I'm going to be your facilitator for the next 3 days. Before we start anything, make sure you pull out your cell phone, follow us on all social media platforms at Teach Kids Business. We are on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Teach Kids Business. You know somebody, you got a friend or family member who wants to be a young entrepreneur, y'all make sure y'all tell them to come on and follow us. Come on over here. We have all the information. We're having students to be successful in more than just Atlanta, Georgia, where I am based. Okay, so we would love to help you no matter where you are from. Okay, now that we got that in the way, I want to introduce myself to you. These who you see on the screen are a bunch of my students, authors who are books. They range in age from 7 to 11. They are from states that include Georgia, Louisiana, Virginia, Alabama, Texas, and Ohio. And 88% of them outside of their book writing authorship, they all run a profitable business. And our keyword is always is profitable. Okay. Business Owners of Tomorrow is my organization. And what we do is we teach children how to run profitable businesses, how to write and self publish books, as well as how to invest in the stock market. Okay. What you're going to expect over the next 2 days is live learning. Okay. We're going to give you some hands on activities, some homework that you are going to have to do. If you have the workbook, that upgrade was available to you via email. It's actually $19, so excuse the typo there. And practical steps that you can use to write your manuscript, a Q&A, and the next steps, which we will give tomorrow upon completion of the challenge. Now, as I mentioned before, we are going to go over days 1 and 2 today. That's why we started on time. And I want to make sure that you are able to get to yesterday's information as well as today. So get your pencil and paper out. We are ready to get started. So when you are thinking about writing the book, one thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have um, decided what that book topic will be based on the top popular writing topics that are out in the market. I have listed for you here on the screen just 4 of those categories. If you have the workbook, there are about 8 categories. And we list out the top 70 popular writing topics. If you are wanting to write a book on family, you may want to write about, maybe a family member of yours who passed away, or you adopting a person into your family, or maybe you are blending families together. You have a stepsister or half sister. You may want to write a book about how those occurrences changed and challenged your life. And so these are just on the screen some of the more popular topics. We do have where you can write books about historical figures, okay? There are books that you can write about superheroes. You may want to write a book about careers. These topics go far and wide, and you are able to select how you want to do that. I have a student who loves horseback riding, so guess what? She's writing a book about horses and how she cares for them and how she manages them, all of the things. So don't think too much into how the work should be done, or if your topic, is going to be liked by the world. It's only supposed to be liked by a few people anyway, and we'll talk about that later. But just make sure you pick a topic that's near and dear to you and something that you actually enjoy. Okay. Our publishing company is called N3D Publishing. I'll tell you a quick story. My name is Nayana. My husband and my daughter's all names start with the letter D. And so that's how we got the N3D Publishing. On the screen here, I have just some books that have been published through our publishing company. The very first is Destined to Bake. That book was written by my oldest daughter, Destiny. In the middle there, that book was written by Sarai Green. She's one of my oldest students, the students who's been with me the longest. And then the 3 books on the far left were all written as a part of our business program. Those books help you to get acclimated to entrepreneurship, learning the language, and that Teach Kids Business workbook will actually guide you through the writing process, where you will be able to write a business plan at the end, have your pitch done. It's an amazing, amazing tool. So these are just some of the books that were published through our company, and I'll share with you many of the others as we go through. Write this down, write this down. Here are the 6 steps that you are going to go through to write your book. This is what we're going to cover over today and tomorrow, okay? Finding your why, selecting a book type, and that's what we just talked about on the previous slide. Identifying your audience, writing your text, illustrating your book, and publishing, okay? If you have the workbook, there are different questions and things that will guide you along through this process, through these 6 steps. Again, you can get that workbook on our website at businessownersoftomorrow.com. And we're going to continue. Y'all make sure y'all write this down, okay? Write this down, take a screenshot. Like I said before, for those of you who are just joining us, the live will be up until next Tuesday so that you can come back and rewatch it. But I want you to take as many notes as you can today, and so that you can have and start to work on the things that we are going to go over today. Now, here we go. Determine your why. Why do you want to be an author? Okay. There could be several reasons as to why you want to be an author. Maybe you want to show or share your ideas with somebody. Maybe you want to earn passive income. That is something that other people do. They literally just want to write a book so that income can be passive, it can be residual, it can come every day or whenever somebody makes a purchase. Or if you are an existing business owner, many people who are existing business owners, they will write a book to show their expertise in that area. And that allows them to gain credibility with the audience that they already have. So there could be many other reasons why you want to become an author. You may just want to tell your story. You may want to help somebody who's gone through or is going through something that you have lived and you have experienced. There are so many different ways, but I really want you to sit down and think about why you want to become an author. Are you trying to impact somebody? Are you trying to sway a person to believe something that you believe? Are you trying to just tell a story? Do you want to make a person laugh or cry or um, display some sort of emotion? Why do you want to become an author? This is going to be key. And I really want you to sit down and determine why you want to become an author. So for day one, what we're going through today is day one. I told you guys this is the homework for day one. I want you to make sure that you screenshot this page as well. What you're going to do, you're going to select 2 of those topics out of the genres that we shared before. And you're going to create 2 possible titles, book titles for each of those topics. So you should have 4 book titles when you come back to this live tomorrow. And if you have the ebooks, you are to complete pages 7, 9, and 11. 7, 9, and 11. Okay. Now we're going to go on to day 2, and we're going to go into why you guys are here today. Again, I wanted to cover the information from yesterday because we were having technical difficulties and we were not able to get on. But today we are focusing on goal setting. Okay, goal setting. Goal setting. So we're going to be on this page for a while. So I want you to make sure you are taking incredible notes. Okay. Step 1 of your goal setting process is to create an outline. You're going to create an outline of your book, right? And so the first part of that is actually identifying every single character that you're going to have in the book. And when I say create and describe, I mean in detail, okay? You need the character's name. You need a description. What are they wearing? How is their hair? What color are their eyes? How old are they? You need all the things. What kind of shoes? Are they wearing skates? Are they in the sky? Is this an astronaut? Please, please be very descriptive when it comes to the characters, because this is going to help you when it comes to you to do your illustrations, what we're going to talk about on tomorrow. So make sure you are absolutely very, very descriptive as much as you can. Okay. Step 2 is you're going to identify every single setting that you want this book to have. Okay, as I am thinking about Destiny's book, her book was it's called Destined to Bake, and it was the journey to how she got her first 10 recipes. And what she did was in her book, there is a setting where she delivered books to a house. There's a setting where people were at her home. There's a setting where she was at a masquerade party. And then there were many settings where she was just in her kitchen. So there were four settings in her book. So these settings are going to assist you as and your illustrator as you are getting ready to lay out what those pages look like. Okay. So you are going to make sure you have every single setting identified. The third thing you're going to do is let me know what the conflict or the story is. Okay. I need to know, not for me personally, but you need to know what is the conflict of this story. What's the problem? And then number four, how are we going to solve that problem? Okay. What's the problem? Meaning, if you're in ELA, what's the climax? Okay. So we're going through the story, something happens, and then there's a resolution. What is that in your story? That conflict and that solution needs to be identified. You need to know which characters are going to be inside that conflict, who's going to help with the resolution, what is the outcome. All of that needs to be outlined specifically, right? So once you have your conflict, you can go and you can plug the information before and after. Okay, but you need to know what the conflict of the and the solution of the story is going to be. Next, you need to know how many pages. I'm going to tell you right now that the standard for book writing is 32 pages. We are 32 pages standard, and that does not, write this down, that does not include the front and back cover. That does not include the front and back cover. Okay. You also want to make sure you identify if this is a chapter book, if this is a picture book, if this is a series. We talked about on the first day, actually we didn't, so let me go off that. There are several different types of books that you can write, okay? You can write concept books. You can write series, okay? You need to determine the theme of your book, all right? That's what we did for homework. And then you need to say, identify what kind of book you want. So write this down as I'm talking. A concept book is for children ages birth to 4. These books are shapes, colors, numbers. They are very, very short. 0 to 100 words, 10 words per page maximum. Many of these books are written for toddlers they're written about toddlers or animals, and they are written in third person. There's typically no conflict, no solution, no plot in these books, and the language is incredibly simple. Okay, that's concept book. Picture books or series are for ages 3 to 8. The theme can vary, but there's nothing dark, nothing too dark. Many are about siblings, they're about sharing, new babies, they're about things that happen for 3 to 8-year-olds, okay? These are between 500 and 1,000 words. So many more words than before. Most of the characters are between 3 to 5 years old. And there's typically 2 to 4 characters in these kinds of books, picture books, 2 to 4 characters. The plot is typically to learn something new or you can end the book better than the beginning. Okay. All right. There's picture books. And then we are going to go to Another option that you can do are coloring books. Okay, coloring books are often overlooked. There's no writing required. They're typically children or animals inside. There's no plot. There is a lot of artwork, clean artwork, and it's usually 50 pages or less. 50 pages or less. 25 images max. Okay. And then there should be, I'm looking through my notes, guys, to make sure I give you guys everything. But there should also be storybooks, and storybooks have no pictures. Okay. They Storybooks have no pictures. They are typically for ages 9 and up. Lots of words. They can be chapter books, something that students will read in school, books that they will get from the book fair. A lot of them are now in the comic book style, as that's what children are writing and reading. They're kind of anime as well. So those are the kind of books that they will write. And excuse me, and that is your third option. Excuse me, fourth option. Let me drink some water, y'all. Okay, girl, I got my water down. Now, step two of your goal setting is this sentence right here on the screen. I need you to write this down, and then I need you to fill in these pockets, okay? So it says, I will dedicate X amount of minutes each blank to complete my book. So if you are a young person, we're coming up on the holidays, so you have at maximum a week for Thanksgiving, 2 weeks for Christmas, and then you have your weekend. If you want to write your book in this window, it is absolutely possible because you have a lot of time off, you have a lot of time home, and you still have your weekends, even if you decide not to use your holiday time to write your book. But I want you to decide how many minutes each, either day, week, or month, you are going to dedicate to complete your book. So this sentence will read for me, I will dedicate 60 minutes each day to complete my book. That means 1 hour out of every day, I will use that to complete my book. Okay. And then I could even say I would use 60 minutes each day for 5 weeks or for 6 weeks to complete my books because you want to put a deadline on that. Okay. So let me know how many minutes, how many days of the week, or how many days out of the month for how long. And how long is that going to take for you to complete your book? Okay. This is going to be key. This is going to keep you on task. It's going to keep you in line. It's going to allow you to stick to your goal because this is your goal. Your goal is to have your book written by, let's just say for me, January 15th. I have an hour a day until January 15th to complete my book. That's just the writing of the book. Okay, not the illustrations and all the other things, just the writing. Now, here are steps 3 through 5. Here are steps 3 through 5. Once you make it to January 15th and you finish writing your book, you're going to have to go through the editing and proofreading process. If you are self-publishing and not using a publishing company, so self-publishing means I'm going to do this on my own and I'm not going to pay a company to publish my book for me. I'm going to self-publish. That means you have to find somebody to edit and proofread your book. It can be your mom, your school teacher, your counselor, your sister. It could be anybody. But you want somebody to read your book, make sure they check for spelling, punctuation, and grammatical errors. Because the last thing you want to do is publish your book and then there's a typo, or publish your book and there's a word that should be capitalized and it's not. Make sure you do that. Now, after you've written it, you want to get it typed. Okay. I teach my students how to typeset their books using Canva. Okay. If you have the workbook, this portion is going to be really good for you. You need to decide on a book layout, a book size, and we talked about the number of pages. We said, somebody put in the chat how many pages standard is a book. I said that a million times. How many pages standard? It's 32 pages standard. So everybody has to have at least 32 pages on the inside. 32. Okay. The size of your book matters. Okay. So if you have the workbook, you have a book sizer in there. The standard sizes are going to be 6x9, 6x9, 7x11. I tell you right now, 10x10 is a popular size, but it's a little bit more expensive as we get into making illustrations and having it actually for print. That size is a little bit more expensive. You can also do 8.5x11. That's a regular sheet of paper. What I want you to do is in the library in your home, go to your house where your books are and just look at the sizes of the books that you have in your classroom tomorrow at school. Look at the sizes of the books that are there. And you can say, oh, I want my book to be this size. That's the best way to pick a book size, in my opinion. Look at some other books and see which one that you like. Okay. Then you are going to have to decide on the layout. The layout is when you finish writing that book, if you are using the workbook, you're going to write using your storyboard. So you're going to have this already laid out. So it's going to be easy for you. Okay. But when you lay this out, you need to know how many words are going to be on each page, where you want those words on the actual page. Do you want them up top? Do you want them at the bottom? Do you want a picture in between them? All of that stuff matters. And you're going to have to decide that there is no right or wrong. It's all right. It's what you want. It's what you like. It's your book. So you can do it however you want. So don't let anybody tell you anything different. Okay. And then after you typeset, you want to make sure that you have all of your critical pages inside. Okay. You're definitely going to have a copyright page. A dedication is not necessarily required, but mostly all books have them. So you definitely have to have a copyright. The dedication is optional. And on the back or the inside back cover isn't about the author. If you have the workbook, these pages are already done for you, pre-made, so you don't have to worry about that. For the rest of you who don't have it, you can easily grab a book that you have, look inside, see how their copyright and their dedication and their about the author is written out, and you can do that. My students type their books in Canva. We have a pre-made template for them. So they literally just go in there and they just start typing. Everything is already typeset. You can change the sizes and all of that in Canva as well. So they make it really easy for those of us who self-publish to do it on our own. Okay. And your homework for today, for day 2, your homework is to complete steps 1 and 2. That is the outline and your goal, your goal sheet, the outline and your goal sheet. And if you have the ebooks, you're going to do pages 13 and 14. And listen, we finished at 7:30 as promised, girl. I told y'all we were going to be in and out. I have a few moments. If any of you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat. I am open to answer any questions that you may have on today. Again, this will be up until next Tuesday. So on Wednesday morning, it will no longer be available on YouTube. Oh, excuse me, y'all. But if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat for me. If there are no questions, I'm going to allow you to enjoy the rest of your evening. Um, I don't see anything popping up in the chat, so I assume that everything was clear. That there are no questions for me right now. We will be back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be going over all things illustrations and publishing. And we will also give you your next steps should you decide to go forward with publishing your book. We're going to give you some tips and some things like that that you can do to go ahead and bring your book to life. We do have 2 upcoming events this coming 2026. Our mega book signing for all students who write their books between now and February 27 to 27-26. You are invited to be a part of our mega book signing. That's going to happen on February 28th, 2026. And we would love to have you there. We are also going to be having a young author. We call it a Pen Fest. That will be held on July 11th. And that is going to be open to all authors who have written a book between whenever, right? But the mega book signing is specifically for new authors who have written before February. And Pen Fest is inclusive to everyone. And we'll give you guys some more information on those tomorrow. But if there are no additional questions, you guys have an amazing Wednesday. And I will see you when I see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you are here. Tell somebody to join you, okay? We're writing books. Bye, y'all.